Hey guys, welcome to the Curvy Corner, and today I was asked to do a special video about how I got saved and how I learned about Jesus and kind of my testimony. Um, so thank you, Elaine, for asking me to do a video on that. Basically, since I was little, I had always grown up in a Christian home, and I learned about God from a very young age. I, went to church and I did things like that. And I know a lot of people assume because you come from a religious home, that means that you're being forced to partake in these kind of things, and that was never my upbringing. I was always very excited to go to church. I was always very excited to learn about God, to go to Sunday school, to learn the power of what prayer does. I loved listening to other people's testimonies. For me, it was never something that I felt like was forced upon me. It was just something that came natural to me. And even to this day, I still am a Christian, and I still practice my religion. I have done many things in my life for God. I've went and done protesting in front of my church community before, and have spoken about God, and I've been on the radio, and I've sung Christian songs and stuff like that. And that's not to gloat. I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory. I have many testimonies because God has been very good to me in my life, and He's done a lot in my life that has helped me progress as a human being, and has proven even more to me that His word is true and He is the one and only true God. The first testimony is I was about 4 or 5 years old, and we had a family member, and I'm not going to name who it is, but we had a family member who was really sick and in the hospital, and I was sitting in the living room, and this person had been getting progressively better. I was in the bathroom, I was sitting in there, and something inside me was just we need to pray for this person. And now, I was not the type of person that was around a lot when my parents were having serious conversations. I just kind of went to my room, so I didn't really have any knowledge about what was going on with this person at the time. So I went to my parents and I was like, we need to pray for this person. And they were like, we need to pray for him. I mean, he's doing really well. And I was like, I just have something inside me that tells me that he's really sick and we need to pray for him. So my parents were like, okay. So we prayed for that person. And it wasn't about a couple of hours after we got done praying, we got a phone call that person, something had happened while they were in the hospital, and they were going to have to keep that person another night because there were things that went wrong and complications. And it was just really interesting that I had almost predicted, in a way, that this person's health was going down. No one had any evidence or proof that was happening, and then after we decided to pray, this person, we got a phone call that they were doing bad again. And that person, I will say, has made a full recovery, and we have no one but the Lord to thank for that. The second thing that is kind of a testimony as to the power of God is I was eating a cheeseburger one day, and this was also when I was very young, and I started to get choked on it, and I was ironically in the bathroom again. I don't know why things like this always seem to happen in the bathroom, but I was choking on it or whatever, and I came out, and if you're choking, you can really not even talk, and you're focused on trying to breathe. And I was able to get out that we needed to pray, and my parents were freaking out, but they knew as much as I know that God is the ultimate doctor, the ultimate healer. And so they prayed, and we all sat there and prayed, and a couple of seconds later, the piece of meat got dislodged, and I had no further complications with that. And I just thought that was really cool, that for me not being able to even talk, I was able to get out that I needed to pray. And as soon as we started praying, it dislodged itself. Something that happened about 7-ish years ago. Maybe the timing's a little bit off, but it's a little bit more recent of something that happened. It was storming really, really bad. The electricity hadn't went out yet, but you could hear the wind. It was howling. There was so much lightning and thunder. It was really scary, a really bad storm that had hit our area. I was in my room, and I was playing with my toys, and my dad came in, and he was like, we need to pray because the storm is getting really powerful, and we didn't know how bad it would be, what it would turn into, all those kind of things. So I was like, okay. So I stood up. We went into the living room, and we began praying. My dad prayed out loud. He led the prayer, and as soon as we said amen simultaneously, there was this huge, like, boom of thunder. It sounded like a bomb had just went off right in our front yard. I'm not kidding you. It was loud. And we both stood up immediately and looked at each other, and we were like, what the heck is going on? And so after the storm had passed and it was okay to go outside, we looked around, and there was just debris everywhere. A lot of our electronic things, like our TV, our VCR, our device that we used to communicate with some of my deaf relatives, all these things were like burned up, like lightning, like had completely messed it up. We were like, well, how did this even happen? And we had an electronic person come out, and he was like, it looks like lightning went right through your house and burned up every single one of these electronic things. And there was a marking on our tree in the backyard, and I can't remember exactly what the marking was now because it's been quite a few years since it happened, but he said the way that it was engraved inside the tree, we were really lucky that the tree did not catch fire and burn up everything around us. And it was just such a calming sensation going through me to know that God had told my dad that we needed to pray, and that we were able to get that prayer and ask angels to go around our house and protect us. And out of all the horrible, horrible things that could have happened during this storm, we were unharmed. But that's all I can think of off the top of my head. God is my number one priority in life. I know this is the first time I've spoke about him on my channel, but I thank Elaine again for suggesting that I talk about this, and I hope that everyone can get something from my experiences that I've told you about God that I've went through, and feel free to comment any experiences that you've had with Jesus, and let's just all, thank him for everything that he does every day for us. Until next time, I make new videos every Wednesday. Make sure to share this video because you never know who may need to hear it. Bye, guys.